New strings can be a pain. They slip, they stretch, and your tuning goes straight to hell when you need it the most. But there is a better way. My Uncle Johnny taught me this trick when I was 11 years old, and I've used it on every tour, for every show, sometimes right before the set, with no tuning issues whatsoever. Let me show you how to get it done, and welcome to the shed. Hey y'all, welcome to Uncle Natchet's Woodshed, where I help musicians skip all of the dumb mistakes that I've made, or at least some of them. Today I am showing you my tried and true string changing method. I like this method because I like my guitar to stay in tune right after a string swap. If that's what you want, then this is how you do it. Alright, first thing, get your tools ready. You're going to need a fresh pack of strings, some wire cutters, and if you're fancy, one of those little string winder things, although I've done it plenty of times with just my fingers. Now, if you still got old strings on there, go ahead and loosen them up and let's get them off. You can replace them one at a time to keep some tension on the neck, or replace them all at once. Sometimes I'll do it half and half. Now let's get those new strings on there. This is where the magic happens in 5 easy steps. Most people just loop the string through the tuner and start whining, and that's why they're out of tune 5 minutes later. This is important because the fewer reps you have, the less slack there is. And the less slack, the less stretching your string has to do. That's the trick to getting your guitar to hold tune almost instantly. Too many reps and you're just adding more slack to fight against. Here's what you do instead. 1. Thread the string through the tuning peg, but leave a little slack. I measure the slack by pulling it up here around the 15th fret. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's about this much. 2, make a bend in the string right here so the string points up. This keeps it from coming back out on you. 3, start winding away from the middle of the guitar until it comes back around to you. You want to go away from the middle of the guitar depending on whatever side the tuning pegs are on. Some are on one side, like on Fenders, and some are 3 and 3, and on some basses there's 4 on one side, 1 on the other, but you just want to go away from the middle of the guitar like this. Now, here's the magic part. Step 4, take the loose end and tuck it under the main string, just like this. Very important. And step 5, start winding. Now, you'll notice the wraps go under the first loop. You want the wraps to go under here just like this, and it'll lock it in place. Also, you'll notice there's not a lot of loops around the tuning peg because we only gave it a little bit of slack. Make sure the string is nested right here in the nut and also here on the bridge. If you tighten your string and it's not on the bridge, it's not in the right spot, all you have to do is just loosen it up a little bit and pop it right there on the saddle on the bridge. Remember, the more loops around the tuning peg, the more slack. The more slack, the more stretching. The more stretching, the more wonky the tuning. And look, don't worry, if you do it wrong, well, enjoy tuning every 5 minutes during your set. Now just repeat that process for the rest of your strings. Same technique, same logic. Get them locked in, wind them up, and keep that slack under control when you're winding. And remember, consistency is key. If you do each string the same way, they'll settle in fast and hold tune better as a whole. This is the final part, the right way to stretch your strings. Now, you do have to stretch your strings a little bit using this method, but it reduces the amount of stretching that you have to do because there's not a lot of loops around the tuning peg. This is the proper way to stretch your strings. Here's where most people screw up. They either don't stretch their strings at all, or they stretch them like they're trying to break a rubber band. But this is the way that you do it right. First, tune the guitar to pitch. It doesn't have to be exact, just kind of close enough. 2, Gently tug the string along its length. Nothing crazy, just enough to work out the slack. 3, retune and repeat. Probably do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The way I do it is I just kind of keep doing it until when I play it again, it goes right back to being in tune. That's about the time that you know you're getting pretty close. I've also noticed that the thicker strings, the ones that are wound, those usually need a little bit more tuning. Also, be careful for that E string because I have broken it many times pulling on it too hard. Once all the strings are locked in and stretched, tune up, play a few chords, play a riff, bend a couple notes. If you did it right, your guitar should already be holding tune pretty solidly. If not, retune it. And if it still has problems, well, rewind the video and try it all over again. I've done this method countless times, right before shows, during sound checks, even in tour vans bouncing down the highway, and it's worked for me every time. That's it. If this helped you out, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment if you've got a different method that you swear by. And if you want to see more practical tips like this, I got plenty more coming. Now, go make some noise and keep woodshedding. Now she's in tune, and I'm going to go ahead and use it to record the intro to the Woodshed. Okay, first thing, you'll need to get your tools ready. You'll need a fresh pack of strings,